Okay, let's get right to it. The IRS is pretty much done sending paper refund checks. No, this isn't clickbait and it's not some far off possibility. Starting in 2026, right now, the familiar paper check that millions of Americans have been getting for decades is officially being replaced. For the taxpayers who still get them, this is a massive change. If you don't have your bank information on file with the IRS, or if you don't have a bank account at all, you could face some seriously frustrating delays in getting your own money. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what this new system means, the critical deadlines you can't afford to miss, and the little known alternatives that will make sure you get your refund without a headache. So it's the end of an era. Why paper checks are disappearing? What's actually happening here is the age of the paper tax refund check is officially coming to a close. The whole thing is driven by Executive Order 14247, which has mandated that the entire federal government shifts to electronic payments. The IRS is leading the charge. After September 30th of 2025, the IRS will stop issuing paper checks as the main way to get your individual tax refund. This means when you file your 2025 taxes this season, you won't see an option just to request a paper check on your return like you used to. In fact, the revised IRS Form 8888, which is used to allocate your refund, is being updated to completely remove the check option starting in December 25. Now, you might be wondering why. Well, the reasons are actually pretty simple: speed, security, and cost. Let's be real, the old system was a bit of a dinosaur. Paper checks could take weeks to arrive, and according to the government's own data, they are 16 times more likely to be lost, stolen, or just delayed in the mail compared to an electronic payment. And I can vouch for that. By moving to a digital-first system, the IRS wants to get money into taxpayers' hands faster and more securely. For perspective, the huge majority of taxpayers, over 93% in 2025, already use direct deposit and won't even feel this change at all. They've been enjoying quicker refunds for years. This transition, however, directly hits the remaining 7%, which still adds up to millions of people who now have to get used to a new set of rules. Now, what happens if the IRS doesn't have your bank info? This is where things get serious. In the past, if you filed your tax return without any bank info, the IRS would just default to mailing you a paper check. The safety net is now gone. Under the new system, if you file your 2025 tax return without providing valid bank account details, your refund will be put on hold. It will get stuck in IRS limbo and will not be automatically converted into a paper check. This is huge. Instead, this triggers a formal and potentially slow notification process. The IRS will mail a letter known as a CP53E notice to the last known address they have for you. This notice tells you that your refund is being held because they need your direct deposit information. From the moment that notice is sent, a 30-day clock starts ticking for you to respond by providing your banking details through your IRS online account. If you don't have an online account, you'll have to call the number on the notice or the main IRS helpline to figure out your next steps. Now, what if you make a mistake, like enter the wrong account number? If your bank rejects the direct deposit, your refund gets put on hold all over again. The IRS will then send you another one-time CP53E notice explaining what happened. And this is your one chance to fix it online. If you log into the IRS online account and correct the information, the refund will be reissued quickly. But if you ignore that notice or fail to act, the IRS will hold your money for 6 weeks. And only after that 6-week period will they issue a paper check as a last resort. This isn't for your convenience. It's a failure-proof measure that comes after a significant delay. The bottom line is that doing nothing or having incorrect info now leads directly to a multi-week or even multi-month delay in getting your money. Okay, so that sounds a little intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Getting ahead of this is straightforward if you know what to do. Here's your 3-step action plan to make sure you are totally prepared for the 2026 tax season. Step number 1, obviously, the gold standard is the mastering direct deposit. The absolute best way to get your refund is direct deposit. It's what the IRS wants you to use, and honestly, it's for a good reason. When you file electronically and use direct deposit, most refunds show up in less than 20 days, often a lot faster. To make this work, the first thing you need to do is find your bank, routing, and account numbers. You can find these on a paper check in your mobile banking app or by calling your bank. Now, when you file your taxes, you'll enter the info, double check it, triple check it. Don't mess this up. One wrong digit can send your refund into that holding pattern we just talked about. But the single most powerful tool the IRS has given taxpayers to handle this is through the IRS online account. If you haven't created one, you need to go to irs.gov and set one up, and I've got a video to help walk you through that step by step. But it lets you see things like tax records, view notices, and most importantly, for the purposes of this video, update your bank account information directly. And this is how you'll respond to that notice and fix any errors. So getting ready for 26 starts with an active IRS online account. Like I said, I've already done a video on that. Check that out. It'll help you step by step and make it easy. But hey, life happens. Maybe you switched banks and forgot to update your info, or you just made a typo. If your direct deposit gets rejected, don't panic, but do act fast. Your first move should be to use the Where's My Refund tool on the IRS website or the IRS To Go mobile app. This tool will show you the status of your refund, including if it was rejected. This is why you want this account. You will then get that CP53E notice in the mail. As soon as you have it, log into your account and you'll have the option to update your bank information. Once you provide the correct details, the IRS will reissue your refund electronically, often, they say, within a few days. The biggest mistake you can make is to ignore this notice. If you do nothing, you are basically agreeing to the 6-week wait for this paper check. Remember, the IRS is not going to call you, text you, or email you about this. The official notice only comes through mail, so make sure your address on file is up to date. And I want to mention this. The IRS is not going to use other methods, so don't let somebody scam you out of your bank information this year. They're going to try. Don't let it happen. The IRS communicates via mail. Please be aware of that. But what if you don't have a bank account? No problem, there are alternatives. And this may be the most important part of the whole change because it addresses the roughly 5.5 million households in America that are unbanked. The IRS has been very clear that you do not need a traditional bank account to get your refund electronically. There are several great alternatives. First, you can use a reloadable prepaid debit card. Many of these function just like a bank account and have their own routing and account numbers. Now, to be clear, they have their own routing and account numbers. The number on that card is not the routing and account number. That's a credit card number. It won't work. You need the routing and account number. I want to be very clear on that. And then you can enter these numbers on your tax return and the IRS will deposit your refund right onto the card. Just be sure you're checking with your card issuer to confirm it can accept direct deposits and to make sure, like I said a minute ago, that you get the right numbers. Second, many popular mobile payment apps and digital wallets can also receive direct deposits. If you use a service like PayPal or Cash App, check inside the app for a direct deposit option. They'll provide you with a routing number and account number, again, just like we talked about, that you're going to need for your tax filing. As always, verify this. Be very, very careful. Now, finally, if you'd rather just open an account, the IRS and the FDIC have partnered to promote free or low-cost bank accounts. You can visit fdic.gov/getbanked or use the National Credit Union Administration's locator at mycreditunion.gov to find options near you. For veterans, the Veterans Benefits Banking Program is another fantastic resource. The message is clear. The IRS wants to send you your money electronically, and they're offering multiple ways to make it happen, but they're serious this year about paper checks, so I want you to be aware of it, and let's just go ahead and get ahead of this. Now, if this breakdown is helping you feel more prepared for this huge IRS challenge, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It really helps the channel and make sure other taxpayers who need this information can find it. Now, with that being said, with any big government change comes confusion and, of course, scams. So let's clear up a few myths right now. Myth number one is the IRS will never, ever send a paper check again. The reality is the paper checks aren't being totally eliminated, but they have been demoted to the method of absolute last resort. You only get one if your direct deposit fails and you ignore the notice to fix it for 6 weeks, or in very limited hardship cases that you have to specifically request. The default option is now electronic, period. Myth number two that we're hearing, you are now legally required to have a bank account to file your taxes, and that's just completely false. Getting a tax refund is your choice, and so is providing bank information. However, if you want that refund in a timely manner, you have to provide some kind of electronic account, whether it's a bank, a prepaid card, or a digital wallet. If you don't, then you're signing up for that 6-week delay we talked about. And finally, the most important warning, please, scammers are going to call or text you for your bank information to help you with the new rule, right? They're going to be helping you. This is a scam, 100%. The IRS will never initiate contact with you by phone, email, or text message to ask for your bank account. Their only official method for requesting this information is through the mail with that CP53E notice, which directs you to use the official IRS.gov website. Do not fall for this. I got to be clear on this. I don't know how hard I can say it. Do not fall for this because I know some of you are going to get fooled by it. They won't call for your bank information. Anyone who calls or texts you claiming to be from the IRS and asking for your account numbers is a criminal, and they're trying to steal your money and your identity. Hang up, delete the text, and report it. Okay, so let's wrap this up. The move away from paper checks is one of the biggest shifts the IRS has made in years, but now you have the game plan to handle it. Now, let's quickly recap the 3 most important takeaways. First, the era of paper checks on your tax return is over. Second, direct deposit is the new king, and to be honest, it has been for a long time with 93% using it, but using an alternative like a prepaid card or digital wallet is your next best move. Third, the single most important thing you can do today is go to irs.gov and create that online account. It's your key to managing your information and avoiding frustrating delays. By taking these simple steps, you can make sure that when the 2026 tax season comes, and it's here, your refund arrives quickly, safely, and without any stress. For more updates on how to handle these IRS changes and stay ahead of the curve, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. And let me know in the comments, are you ready for the switch or do you still have questions? I'll do my best to answer them. Stay safe, stay informed, don't fall for scams, and I'll see you in the next video.